I hate Coldplay. I was listening to Coldplay yesterday. I mean, those songs are undeniable. The people who hate Coldplay are just like, you don't know what you're talking about. What are you're allowed to hate Coldplay, but I talked about this in one of my university speeches. Like, don't define yourself as someone who hates Coldplay. That's like the most boring thing.
Listen to Yellow Live and try and not cry.
Yeah, that's right, or fix you. I was writing music for theatre, and then I had all these songs, and then comedy came, and I went, I'll put all my serious ones aside. I'll just do my comedy ones in a show. In 2003, I had a show called Naval in the Melbourne Fringe, and people laughed at that, and that just, I went, oh my God, it's this. People love this. I can sell tickets to this. In 2005, which was the year I turned 30, and I was, working muso, working actor, like doing all right, but really nothing. I wasn't known at all. And so 2005 was the year everything changed. And I clocked that was 20 years. I thought I should tour for my 20th anniversary, which is why I called the tour Songs the World Will Never Hear, which is a rock and roll nerd lyric.
I wondered if it was a conscious thing to choose two very accessible art forms like music and comedy as a way to have the most impact.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Welcome to On The Record, where we revisit a momentous album with the master of its creation, the artist. I'm joined here at Curious Media HQ by one of Australia's most fearless and beloved creative forces, a Grammy and Tony Award nominated musician, writer, comedian, and all-around polymath. Tim Minchin can make you laugh, cry, and question the meaning of life, often within the same song. 2 decades ago, Tim exploded onto the comedy scene, but that was far from the start of his story. Long before the spotlight found him, he was deep in the creative trenches. He was writing music for the stage, acting, playing in a short-lived band called Timmy the Dog, and stumbling somewhat unintentionally into the world of comedy. Now, with Tim Minchin Time Machine, he's finally giving some of his earliest songs their moment in the sun. The album debuted at number 1 on the Australian Albums Chart and landed in the top 4 of both the ARIA albums and vinyl charts. Not bad for songs written in his 20s but never recorded until now. It is a record brimming with lyrical elegance, biting humour, and that disarming tenderness that he's made his signature. We're going to talk about the stories behind the songs, why you don't have to have a dream, what it means to revisit your younger self, and how he keeps up with his own creativity. This is Tim Minchin, On The Record. Do you feel like you've just started though?
Both. Part of me feels like I'm just getting going. But I do, maybe even this year, like putting this record out and doing this tour, which is the 20th anniversary of my breakout, and turning 50, I'm trying to sort of lean into, or not even trying to, I'm finding myself leaning into the senior member of the artistic community thing, and I quite like it. It's nice to go, oh no, I've done some stuff, and take stock a bit. I'm taking stock a bit. Not because I'm still gonna keep making stuff, and I'm still ambitious, but it's nice to pause and look back a little bit.
And good artists always take stock and always pause. But what a wild year to do it. I didn't know all of those things were happening.
I didn't either. I recorded these songs for this record just sort of arbitrarily a year ago or something, without any plan for it. I just thought, I want to put some of these old songs down properly.
Over like 4 days, right?
Yeah, like in the end it was a few, and then I did some piano and vocal overdubs. But yeah, it was just like, let's put them down. And then I sort of simultaneously clocked that it was 20 years since my big Edinburgh year in 2005, which was the year I turned 30. And I was, working muso, working actor, like doing all right, but really nothing. I wasn't known at all. And so 2005 was the year everything changed. And I clocked that was 20 years. I thought I should tour for my 20th anniversary, which is why I called the tour Songs the World Will Never Hear, which is a rock and roll nerd lyric. And then I went, and these old songs. And so Time Machine and the tour and turning 50, I didn't notice it all at once. I just sort of, it all clicked together. And now I'm in this kind of reflective mode that I didn't expect to be in, but it's, as you say, I think good artists do take stock, and I have not. I'm like head down, and that thing of sort of having pride in your survival in the industry and stuff. It's not in my nature to sort of have pride, but I'm trying to work on. Like, I should let myself be proud of the work, you know.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, and you should be proud of the work.
Yes.
I know that it is your most successful album to date.
Oh, yeah.
I also know that commercial success for music has never been important to you, but I wondered if, because now you have a #1 album and #4 on the vinyl charts, has your feeling around ARIA charts, commercial success changed, or is it just a beautiful byproduct of what you do?
No, I don't think about it at all. I don't. I care about the work success, as in I'm very lucky that like commercial success in the record industry, it's not going to change my financial situation, if that's what you mean by commercial success. Like, this is not where I make my money selling records. I mean, everyone knows it's like pennies.
Ask any musician.
Whereas live, which is the thing I'm good at, the thing I'm really, I think, the thing I'm definitely a live guy. If you come to see me live, you'll know what I mean. I'm not saying I'm Oasis or anything, but it's a very particular level of performance and engagement that is less common, I think, I hope. And live is where my passion is, and that's why this record's a bit odd, because it's kind of putting in stone a bunch of songs that have only ever existed live and can therefore be infinitely iterated. It's like, now we're playing Not Perfect with an orchestra, now I'm playing it with a tiny piano upright in a little, and that's one of the joys of my career. As I have played arenas, but my Unfunny tour of 2 years ago, I deliberately kept it under 1,500 seats, you know, and just me and a piano, and so these songs have always been infinitely interpretable, and now they're locked in a way. Not that it matters, I'll keep interpreting them, but so like, I like validation is a better word than commercial success. I want to be acknowledged as a person who can write some songs, and I want my audience to want my work, because otherwise you're just a tree falling in a forest. And I guess I really like, given the sort of circuitous way I've found my way into being a songwriter who is on some levels taken seriously as a songwriter, given that I got known as a comedian first, it means a lot to me that I've worked really hard. It's not easy to get known as a comedian and transcend that label. It's been strategic and gradual, 15 years of trying to say, thank you for my comedy career, but I'm actually a composer lyricist, and I'm actually an actor, and I insist that I'm allowed to be. And so on that level, it's very, very validating and satisfying to have a record that's done well against other non-comic entities.
I'm trying to find, thank you for saying all that. There's this quote of yours. You once said, I'm a good musician for a comedian, and I'm a good comedian for a musician. But if I had to do any of them in isolation, I don't know.
Yeah, but
do you still think that?
That's 20 years ago. No, I don't think I even believed at the time. I mean, you know, people have humility.
Heard of it.
Humility, yeah, have you heard of this thing? It's weird, right? Humility is often a performance, you know. Everyone talks about, I've got imposter syndrome, and it's like, yeah,
that's bullshit.
We've all got imposter syndrome.
Yep.
It's not a syndrome. That's just very normal to go, oh shit, there's 1,000 people out there. Do I deserve that? But the answer is no and yes. You're lucky. Get on there, do your fucking job. Stop talking about imposter syndrome. Like,
yes,
it's
stop being so fucking privileged.
Yeah, it's it's what we call a luxury belief, you know. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot of people have huge anxiety. At the beginning of the tour I've just finished, I was a mess. My body broke down. I mean, I had sold 100,000 tickets and I didn't feel like I deserved it. But I'm 30 years into that feeling. Like, so, like, work hard and make it good
and do cool shit.
Yeah, and don't let it fail. Like, you don't get to do it if you don't have and all the people who talk about imposter syndrome, it's just a framing. So just in that subject, like, I have my humility to me is it sits inside you, like, and it's about how you frame why you are where you are. Like, because I'm a determinist, as in I don't believe anything is anyone's fault. We're all just causal atoms in the universe being bumped around. I don't think I deserve credit. I think I'm just incredibly lucky that I got a brain that can do this stuff, and then I got an environment that allowed me to do it, and here I am. And other people, you know, I'm only a successful musician for the same reason a murderer is a murderer. We just ended up here, right? So that's where my humility sits, and the rest is fucking talk. And really, actually, the people who are most humble are the most confident people, because they don't have to perform there. You know, people are like, I'm amazing. They're insecure because you don't need to say it if you think you are. That's all to say, I'm a good musician. I'm a good songwriter. I've always been a good songwriter. I mean, I just said that because I wanted to, it's my way of expressing that I know I'm lucky and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I was a good comedian on its own. I was a thing no one had ever seen before, you know. In England, I was like playing proper piano with an orchestra and saying 1 million words a minute and making people laugh, and they were like, what the hell is this? Give me a mic. And I don't know, I don't even care about comedy. I really like making people laugh, but as a craft, it's not my field. My field is words and music and ideas, you know, and if the manner in which I present that is funny, then yay me. So I don't know whether I was a comedian, but I'm sure as hell a musician. Like Matilda took away any doubt I had about myself, any imposter syndrome.
Now there's some validation.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. I mean,
I think of you as an intellectual, and I think of you...
I just disproved that over the 7 minutes of talking.
Like, you can say how you feel, but from the outside, I do. And I think it's because you're able to talk about big ideas in an easily accessible way. And I also think it's because you have chosen music and comedy as your message stick. And I wondered if it was a conscious thing, and perhaps it's not given what you just said.
No, it's a good question though.
I wondered if it was a conscious thing to choose two very accessible art forms like music and comedy as a way to have the most impact.
Yeah, no, not at all. I just followed my nose towards an audience. Like it is intuitive for me to write wordy songs. I always have since I was 14, 15. It's what came out. I come from a theatre-y background. I watched a lot of Gilbert and Sullivan as a kid. This was my instrument. I didn't do a lot of training on it, but because of this shitty 100-year-old pianola that I taught myself on, which had no resistance, had a really loose action. And so you can see it in my playing, the fact that I didn't train my left hand shit, but my left hand goes, it plays bass and drums, and my right hand goes, because I learnt on this really loose action, so I learnt to play really, really fast. And I love the blues, and that made me, and then I don't know why, I grew up on the Beatles and the Kinks, and, you know, I just wrote quirky songs. And then I found myself, and then I got really interested, and I studied a bit of philosophy and psychology, got really interested in belief, and I'm obviously an atheist, and you've got to remember the world, this is what I mean, we're just made of what we're made of, you know, my genes, my brain, the environment. 2001 comes, you're a baby, but these planes went into a building and suddenly new atheism arises, and suddenly it's not just me who thinks this shit, but these incredibly smart people who, because I got known, I got to meet, and suddenly I'm talking about belief, and more than anything, I suddenly had an audience. So I wrote my way and performed my way into an audience, and I'm talking 15, 20 people at a cabaret venue, but I was like, shit, they're listening. And intercepting with that is, you know, my increasing interest in science and psychology, my imposter syndrome, my desire to be good enough for this audience that was doing this, and then suddenly went like this. And you know, you look at my playing, not that there's any particular record of it, but my playing between 2000 and 2010 goes whoosh, because I'm like, oh shit, well I better be good. Like, these people are listening to me, I better be good. So I made myself better. I wrote myself into a better level of musicianship. And so there's not much intention in a macro sense. It wasn't like I went, I certainly never thought I was a comedian. I just found, I realized over many years that when I'm on stage, I find it very easy to make people laugh. And so I wasn't looking for a medium to deliver my message. Really, I was looking for a message to apply my medium to. And the message that was around me was science and skepticism and philosophy and stuff, and that's why I'm sort of getting away with a pseudo-intellectual sort of worldview. But I also am intuitively a teacher. I'm a didactic person. Even the way I talk, it's probably boring and tedious, but I've ended up in a job where it's appropriate. And so I want to share ideas, and I understand I'm someone who can articulate my ideas, so that's a blessing, right? And so, but it's in my TV scripts, and I don't know. I've just always wanted to do it, and I've wanted to share my ideas. So there's not much intention, but where there is intention is in the micro, where I'm like, I'm going to put on a show and I want them to laugh there, and then I'm going to shock them, but then I'm going to heal that, and then I'm going to make them cry, and I'm very intentional in how I create a live experience, and to an extent how I create an album, but that's a bit more emergent.
And as your career got bigger, as your audience got bigger, your intention focused, and it served you in a way. Because some artists might go, this is too much. I don't want to be that kind of big. I just want to play cabaret bars. This is too much. I want to pull back.
Not many. A lot say that. That's how they frame their,
failure.
Well, at least they. Yeah, there are people like that, but mostly people who are making art want an audience.
Yeah. True.
I mean, I did pull back in a quite significant way, in that I was playing arenas, I was a huge comedy act, and I stopped. I mean, after the orchestras of 2011, I stopped, and I left England and went to LA and made a children's film, and I did that because I thought it was bad for my kids for me to get more famous. So yeah.
Really? Did something happen? Did you notice a change in your children?
No, I just like walking the streets, and it's just noticing that it's a different experience. I mean, I've simplified it a bit. There was 2 things happened, 3 things happened, infinite things happened. But things that I can tell a story about. I was getting recognised on the street a lot in England, and I thought that's a weird thing for your kids. I was known as a comedian, but I had written what turned out to be the most successful British musical of the 21st century, and that was already starting to happen, and I went, I don't want to just be a comedian. I want to do more of that. I want to be culture. I want to make big things that change kids' lives, and I want to tell stories. I don't want to chase this laugh all the time. And a movie, I was writing songs for an animated film for DreamWorks that was in development, and they said, why don't you direct it? Because I kept being, mouthy about how it should go.
That?
This was called Larrikins, which I spent 3 years on, and then it got folded. But so, and I guess the 4th thing is we knew we didn't want to stay in England forever, even though we wanted to in our hearts. We thought it'd be better for the kids to end up in Australia. So the opportunity to move to LA was like ripping the Band-Aid off. But yeah, a lot of it was, I did put the brakes on what a comedian in Britain who's playing those big rooms does next, is get their own show, get their own either sketch show or late night panel show. And I thought, if I do that, and there were things in development. I was having meetings like, what about you're the host and it's music? It's like Jules Holland crossed with, whatever, 8 out of 10 Cats. And then there was a sitcom that I played a role in that did a pilot. And then there was a guy in America who'd written who was a big writer who ended up working on Ted Lasso, who had written a pilot just based on my material. And all this was happening. And I went, if I'm a comedian, if I do a panel show or a sitcom, I'm never going to be an actor. I'll never be able to be a real actor.
Oh.
And that was always part of my thing. Is I think I could be an actor as well, and I don't want to be a comedian. And you can't be a host. Who is a host and an actor?
You're right. It didn't work for James Corden. It didn't work for Jimmy Fallon.
Well, it does work for James. He is the exception.
But is he?
But it's a bit
accepted as an actor more so than a host?
I think it probably has limited. I mean, he's such a fantastic actor, but yes, it certainly has put him in a James Corden is James Corden. Any fame as yourself is damaging to your acting, but and acting wasn't the goal. It was just one of the things I wanted to protect as a possibility.
Yeah.
And it worked out in the end, because for me, upright's one of the most important things in my career. It doesn't really matter whether it's the thing I'm known for. That was a really big thing for me.
Speaking of your freedom and creative freedom as well, Matilda the Musical made you rich. Like, that's just fact. Mm-hmm. Being rich means freedom, means creative freedom. Did it unlock more creativity for you?
No one's ever called me rich before. It's really cool. I think not having to worry about money, without a doubt, meant the brave step of turning my back on comedy was not very brave. What's the downside? What's amazing is what's happened since in the last 10 or 15 years is that the things I've tried to push out into, and it's partly because I'm cautious and strategic, and partly luck. You could go try to act and everyone's like, dude, yeah, that's just, you're not an actor. Or you could try and make a serious album, and as many people I assume have, I don't read the comments, but I'm sure a lot of people didn't want a part together, they wanted comedy. But it did all right,
Yeah, number two, right?
Number two, yeah. I think, a part together, and my TV writing and my books, and I've been very lucky, because I don't think I've ever gone, I'm doing this now because I can. I've worked towards it. Even like when I decided I wanted to act more, I came back to Sydney and did Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. I played a small role in Secret River. I earned my way into it, I think, hopefully. But as I say, it's hugely lucky. But all of that was made. The decision was not risky, because I knew while Matilda runs, I'm not going to end up on the street. It's very I'm not in the way that a lot of people are, but I'm very ambitious. Like, not to be the most famous or the richest, or to fuck all the women or have all the bling, but to have a really weirdly broad career. Like, I'm really ambitious about that.
You have succeeded
yeah,
at that, and you
keep
continue
going.
to,
yeah.
and you continue to do.
The risk, of course, of getting comfortable is you get comfortable.
But you don't let yourself get comfortable.
I don't. I think it's because I'm. No, I don't. I have. It makes no difference to me whatsoever. It means I don't have to worry about money, but it doesn't mean I go, why do I bother working then? That just doesn't enter my head. I bother working because I hate not working. Even holidays are a bit annoying,
It can be scary what might happen when you have a lot of money and you don't work as well.
Oh, I mean, that's ennui. You're fucked. Yeah, yeah.
I want to go into Time Machine because, firstly, congratulations. It's so
Thanks.
incredible.
Is it though? It's a cute thing. I'm stoked that that people have bought it. But
it makes you emotional and you want to almost cry, but then you remember you're very funny. And there's a song where you think it's a heartbreak ballad, and then it's about a mole. Like, it's hilarious and cute and beautiful, and
good.
then produced incredibly.
Oh, good.
But I have this idea that a lot of artists don't like revisiting their past. They're like, that was... And of course they'll perform it, but in terms of releasing songs that they had written 20 years ago, a lot of artists would go, that doesn't represent me anymore. And it amazingly has this feel of, it could have been written 2 days ago, not 2 decades ago.
Really? That's great.
But why? Why would you want to breathe life into these songs that, of course, some of them you still perform on stage and have been performing, but some you hadn't released?
Yeah, and the ones I've performed all these years, Rock and Roll Nerd and Dark Side and Not Perfect and even You Grew on Me, which has come and gone over the years, they're the ones I put down because I think they're songs that exist in culture, in my little subculture. I think they're well-constructed songs that are funny and heart. They have heart and everything I want, wit, heart, humour. And they deserve to have a version of them in the world that people can listen to because they like my music, but they're not hearing a live version where there's people laughing and it stops and I go that you can play in your house without feeling like you have to settle in to listen to the experience. And then there's these other ones, but I guess it all relates to what we've already been talking about. I think of myself as a songwriter. I'm absolutely blessed that I can make people laugh, and making people laugh is my favourite thing, partly because it leaves them vulnerable to make them cry, partly because what's the point in getting on stage and just making them feel one thing if you can make them feel all the things? Like I come from theatre, like Shakespeare kills the kids and then brings on a clown. Like it's like that's, you take them with you, you make them come with you. That's the goal. They should feel vertiginous with, like with not knowing.
What does vertiginous mean?
Like
that's a great word.
Vertigo. Like they should be unsettled.
Yeah.
And then land them, and then cuddle them, and then tell them to fuck off, and you know. So all of that is what I've ended up aspiring to. But I was just a songwriter. I was writing music for theatre from 17, by the way. There's sort of it was always kind of composery. And then I had all these songs, and then comedy came, and I went, I'll put all my serious ones aside. I'll just do my comedy ones in a show. In 2003, I had a show called Naval in the Melbourne Fringe, and people laughed at that, and that just, I went, oh my God, it's this. This is people love this. I can sell tickets to this. And I just left all this stuff behind, and I didn't leave it behind. I mean, I had demoed it up and sent it out to all the record companies and been rejected. But, you know, I was rejected by every acting agent in the country and every record label in the country. And that's as it should be. I wasn't there yet. I wasn't good enough. That's fine. But it doesn't mean that...
Does it mean you weren't good enough, or did it just land to the wrong A&R?
Yeah. Yes, I wasn't... People didn't know what to do with it. And people didn't know what to do with me. I don't look like the next lifesaver on Neighbours, do I? I mean, you know, what? I wasn't trained as an actor. And I wasn't, I don't know why we're talking about acting so much. It's such a small part of, but yes, I didn't let the fact that every agent in the country rejected me, I didn't make it go, well, I should never act again. Similarly, just because record labels didn't want my non-comedy songs or any of my songs doesn't mean I should stop. And so when I put a part together out, it was like a toe in the water of like, I wonder if people are interested in my songwriting, you know, my non-comic songwriting. All my stuff's quirky, but, you know, can I put out an album, proper studio album? Will people be interested? Oh, they're interested enough. So I'll put out another one. Oh, hold on, I've got all these fucking songs that I've never put out. I'll put them out.
Yeah.
And then here we are having interviews about it. It was not meant to be a big deal, but people really like the record. So now I'm out flogging the record, which I really love. I love that this record's being taken seriously as an offer. I thought it was just like, oh, here's the songs I just want to put them down and you can...
Like
I
posterity kind of thing.
Yeah, I said to BMG, if I just record some of these old songs, can you stick them on Spotify just one by one over the next year? That was my... Some of my fans can listen to them, and they're like, yeah, sure, send us the demos. And I sent them the rough mixes, and they went, dude, this is a record. Let's put the...
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's like, put a fucking record out. And I went, okay, put a record out.
Wait, so how many are in the vault? Obviously...
Oh, there's heaps.
How many volumes of...
I could do 3 Time Machines. I did think Time Machine 2 might be an idea. I just don't want... Like everything I do, I don't want my next move to be predictable. I mean, that's been my kind of guiding light. It's like, if they think I'm doing this, I'm going to go do this. So I definitely need to write another musical or 2, because that's probably the thing I'm best at. And when I say write a musical, write the music and lyrics for a musical. But I sort of want to turn around and just record another 10 songs from the vault. But
do a surprise release. Do a Beyonce.
Totally, yeah. Just hush it up and just stick it out there. But you know, they've lived for 25 years. They can live for 5 more. Maybe I'll weirdly put out Time Machine 2 in another 10 years.
How much did you change the arrangements of, the lyrics of, or were you just like, I really want to preserve my younger self? Yeah,
that's another excellently framed question. A little bit, but mostly the latter. Like the arrangements, I definitely would have happily completely. The arrangements I would have happily thrown out and started again. And for I Wouldn't Like You and Masochist, they feel really different from the old versions. Not perfect has only ever been solo or symphony orchestra. Yeah. So finding the like campfire version,
That's right.
I don't know, like I was like, I'm not sure people want this. People really want that solo, but there's solo versions out there. I thought I'd do something a bit more just sing-alongy. And I wasn't sure of it. And then I put that music video out, which I just taped on my phone one day.
That was cool.
And suddenly it sits in its own place. And I think people are playing that one a lot, actually. And lyric-wise, I made tiny adjustments just because I thought, that'd be better a bit like that. But I had to be careful about opening that door because, 50-year-old me, I could just rewrite them from scratch.
Yeah.
I think I'm a better lyricist and I'd see the
pulling a
world
thread.
differently. Yes, exactly. So I didn't want to pull the thread. I did want to just honour its time machine. I wanted to let them be. And there's moments on the record. There's a song on it called If All You Ever Had Was Love, which I haven't released as a single, and no one's ever heard. Like, that one I've never played anywhere. And I really like that song, but it's going to take a few listens for people's ears to settle to it, because it does this weird harmonic thing where you don't know where the one is, and it's a bit unsettled, and like all my songs, it doesn't sort of properly have verse, chorus, middle eight. It's just a bit linear. And then there's something like Moment of Bliss, which I wrote when I was 20. And I can't believe I wrote that when I was 20. It's the weirdest little jewel.
It's a little moment of bliss on the record.
And it feels like a song I would have written in my 40s, right? Feels like one you find your way towards over time. It's sort of, I don't know. It's a weird one. So I think honouring the 20-year-old who wrote that by not fucking with it too much is like valid.
I can imagine it would have been a consideration to know that there are some songs that you perform live, and when you perform, Not Perfect, and Dark Side, it's very physical. Like, part of the comedy is seeing you physically, and even just with facial expressions.
Yeah, sort of acting the joke.
Yeah. And then you're translating it to audio only.
Yeah. And look, I would never, I say never, I presume I will never, because I've never wanted to, release a studio recorded album of my comedy songs. So I'm never going to put Prejudice down as a studio album, or Context, or Inflatable You, because comedy songs are made, they're all about timing and about dropping the line and about an audience who haven't heard them before, right? It's the opposite of pop. You don't want the audience to know where the joke's going. My comedy songs are much more like stand-up. You want them to be like, where's this going? Oh, he's not going to say that, is he? Oh, ha, 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 he didn't say that. So they don't ever need to be studio recorded. Dark Side and Rock and Roll Nerd, Not Perfect, Grew on Me are not comedy songs. They're quirky. Dark Side's the closest, but, Folds or the Whitlams or the Kinks or the Beatles or Queen or any of the bands who had a wink in their music, Ween, Weezer, They Might Be Giants, Presidents of the USA. Like, there's lots and lots of bands who get to be really silly but don't get called comedians. I crossed over and did proper comedy songs, and then there's all these chin-strokey, lovely songs, and in the middle are these pop crossover songs, and I've got a line where I know when I think something's a comedy song or not, but, I don't know if my audience agrees with me, but to me, Dark Side and Rock and Roll Nerd are the kind of quirky pop side of that line.
There's some songs where it is so beautiful and you're wearing your heart on your sleeve, and then you can't help but be silly.
I undermine where I've got to.
No, I don't think
in a good
it's
way.
I don't know if it's an undermining. It's more, I don't know if you can help it.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Aren't you interesting? I think I can't help it, and I do it in my life too. I can be very, very sincere, but I find it very hard to leave an ellipse at the end of sincerity. I have to go, and you're a fuckwit. It's part of my culture, but also I think so much of music is a sort of performance of depth. It's the thing I'm taking the piss out of in Dark Side and Rock and Roll Nerd is, especially Rock and Roll Nerd, which ostensibly is taking the piss out of me, but I'm taking the piss out of us, of the, 21-year-old Perth boys, like, and you're like, your mum's got 2 Mercedes, like, Sharby and me, because we all grew up in the 90s,
Creed voices.
And look, some of them are expressing their pain, and, being brought up middle class doesn't mean you don't have any necessarily.
It's the ennui.
It's the ennui, or just like, all the pressures of your fucking asshole father. Anything can be happening behind closed doors in those fucking places. I happen to be a happy person because I like sport, and if you like sport, if you play a lot of sport, then it's hard to be true like this. But and you can't smoke if you play a sport. So I was like, I play piano and I hockey.
But I have hockey on the weekends.
I have hockey on the weekends. I play hockey 5 times a week. But I was taking the piss out of that, and I still. Even artists, like really good artists, I was going to say Nick Cave, but not anymore. He's had so much pain in his life. But looking at early Nick is like, it's like the performance, valid way to write music is to write the heart stuff, the human dark stuff, the pain and the love and the beauty, and you fucking perform it, and you do not laugh at yourself, because as soon as you're laughing at yourself, you've broken the spell, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to play like this and you're fucking engaged, you can't laugh at yourself. And I always found my attempts at sincerity mawkish. It made me squeamish. So I always laughed at myself. But then I lived enough life and wrote enough songs that I can have my cake and eat it too, even within a song that is like White Wine in the Sun that just undoes people. There's all these little quirks and laughs, and same in A Part Together, like A Part Together itself as a song, which I think's maybe one of my better songs I've written. It's I guess the positive thing about freezing to death is you get to stay that way. It's like dark and quirky, but it makes you and so somehow I'm really stoked that I don't have to suppress my instinct to laugh at myself, but I also am not laughing at myself so much that I deny my audience's right to fully engage with the emotional truth of what I'm saying. Like that's a very hard needle to thread, and it's just that I've been lucky. And it's not for everyone, obviously, nothing's for everyone, but mostly these days when I play live, I'm like, no, they'll come with me. I'm going to mock myself here and then do exactly the thing I was just mocking, but with no mockery, and they'll come with me. And that's the great joy of my career.
Yeah. Some people have put you on them forever. I'm talking about a lyric from Not Perfect. It's not perfect, but it's mine.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people have that lyric tattooed on their bodies.
Yeah, is this the big reveal? So it's across your back. Like.
I do actually have I have one tattoo, and it's massive, and it's on my back.
Great. Is it an eagle?
I hate it. It has wings, honestly. You don't have any tattoos, do you?
No, I really want one.
What? 50s time.
I know, right?
I find it so interesting that you don't have tattoos. I mean, you've tried on a lot in a lot of your roles in the past. But I wondered why you think it is about fans and their idols. Why do we need to wear our idols on us, whether it's a tattoo or a band shirt or dressing up like someone we love who we've never met? What is that about
what
fandom?
What do you think? Are you a fan?
Yeah,
I think fandom is a sort of a brain type. Like, well, I think a lot of people go through fandom. Like, I just don't have it. I would never wait at a stage door. I'm interested in art. I've never read a biography of an artist. It just makes me go, oh yeah.
Oh, they're my favourite.
Yeah. So tell me. I don't know.
I want to understand like how the sausage was made. I'm loving this song. Yeah. I'm loving this musical. I'm loving this movie. How did it go from being born to that?
I think I'm scared of knowing, because I try not to examine why my stuff, especially with comedy, I never ever engaged in any theory. I never looked back over my stuff that worked and went, what did I do there? I was allergic to the idea of analysis, because I went, well, I got here not thinking about it at all, and I need to keep. And same with musical theatre, you know. I sat down to write the songs for Matilda without knowing any. I've never read a book about the structure of musical theatre. I've never done a course, or I can't read music, so I've never analysed a score. I just went, what is the colour of this show? How does it sound to me in my head? What are Quentin Blake's drawings evoke in me musically? Wow. There it is. And what sort of words? It's so easy for me because I was bathed in Roald Dahl. I just bleh. And I actually I'm misrepresenting it. It's very, very methodical and careful, and I think this should go here. But
song structures.
Yes. I that's all to say I'm scared of looking at a recipe for the sausage. I kind of feel like it might get up in my head or something.
Or it might take away the magic, and it might be reductive in some way because of that.
And same with screenwriting. To the extent that I've written with my friends, wrote Upright and sat down and wrote the first episode of that. I've never read a book about screenwriting or even read a screenplay. I have a good story intuition and a reasonable, it seems, over time I've learnt that if I follow my instinct and my own sort of analytical brain, I can, and I think almost to a mystical degree I've gone, I don't want to know how you did it. I don't want to know how anyone's done it, because it worked for me to not,
Yeah, wow.
So, but in terms of
wearing it.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts.
Yeah.
I wondered if, because I've dressed up as the Spice Girls when I was younger, that kind of stuff.
Which one was you?
I was Scary Spice, always.
Yeah, of course.
But it was because I wanted to show off my tribe, and I wanted to find my community and people like me. Yeah. And I thought if I showed that off through clothing or a AC/DC band shirt, I would, go to a gig and find other fans of that and find my people. That makes sense. And it's almost a search for self through search for community. Yes.
And I think it's not something I ever felt, to the extent that I had a Hendrix shirt and a Doors shirt and a Akadak shirt. I was really just following my friends. I was like, oh, this is what we do now. And same, I never went, let's get Pearl Jam tickets. Someone else was like, I'm getting Pearl Jam tickets. I'm like, okay, I guess we're going to Pearl Jam. Like, it's in my songs. I don't want to be, stolen that Groucho Marx quote about not wanting to be in a club that'll have me as a member. I have some. That's another thing. Being sort of intuitively nervous of tribes is a very defining personality trait of mine that's influenced my politics and my comedy and my, the kind of, as soon as I see everyone thinking the same thing, I'm deeply, deeply suspicious. It's a slightly different conversation, but...
It's why you don't listen to music.
Well, music as tribe is most of music, I think. And the toxic side of that is, like, you have to hate some music, which is such an odd thing. And real music fans don't hate music, but most people, for a lot of people, music gives them feelings. They associate it with a time and a place. It adrenalizes them or makes them feel weepy or transcendent or nostalgic, and they don't know that the reason they are feeling like that is because someone's written another song with a 6-4-5-1 chord structure, and it's just exactly the same fucking thing. And it's like
they say they had country music, but really it's very. But they love Taylor Swift.
That's country, right. And I'm allergic to. I'm a very critical thinking monster, so I hate Coldplay. I was listening to Coldplay yesterday. I mean, fuck. So those songs are undeniable. Especially some are just undeniable. And people who hate Coldplay, just like, you don't know what you're talking about. What are you're allowed to hate Coldplay, but I talked about this in one of my university speeches. Like, don't define yourself as someone who hates Coldplay. It's like the most boring thing.
Listen to Yellow live and try and not cry.
Yeah, that's right. Or Fix You. Or anyway, it doesn't have to be your thing, but let it just be like, oh, I think I like this stuff. So, but the idea of lyrics at their best are just poems, obviously, and the idea of putting a poem on your skin I find hard, because there'll be another poem tomorrow. You'll hear a lyric tomorrow that is more profound or more for you now.
I hate my tattoo. I got it when I was 21. I'm 38. I'm a different woman now.
Yes, that's right, and that's what the opening lines of Rock and Roll Nerd. He it's fine that his mates have tattoos, but he reckons they'll rue them, which is rue in a song is not. That's why I wasn't a good songwriter. But a lot of fans, especially of comedy, are people who struggle. So real fans are often people seeking escape. Not like seeking escape like through drugs, not seeking but seeking genuine, like, what can I do to make myself feel better in what is basically a tough life? And that's a real feature of the people I've met at my stage door over the years. Not all, but most have a story. And the story can be disability, chronic illness, neurodivergence, a huge amount with my fandom. Just tough circumstance, poverty, or not poverty if you can come to my show, but, they spend much more of their money than they should coming to my shows. And because chronic illness and mental health and stuff are so pervasive in fandoms, and especially comedy fandoms, and perhaps in some interesting way, which I won't unpack my fandom, having It's Not Perfect but It's Mine written on your skin I find it unbelievably beautiful. It worries me. I mean, what if I get cancelled? They'll have to pay for laser. But
no one's going to cancel. If they were going to cancel you,
I would have been cancelled.
It would have happened.
Oh, there's been attempts from all over the place, but that's just the nature of our time.
Remind me to come back to that.
Yeah, but I find it beautiful, and really special. And people have other lyrics of mine on their bodies. I think there's a couple who got "Let's Fall Apart Together" on their arms when they got married and stuff. And that's the lyric. Yeah, one girl, let's fall apart together is the lyric. Oh. And I think I can't not feel validated. That feels special to me, that someone would connect so much to anything I've made that they would wear it on their skin. And I just hope they don't regret it. Like, I don't want to be regretted.
What are the biggest times where you got cancelled? I've been cancelled before.
What did you get cancelled for?
It was a kind of a stupid thing, but
It's not nice to relitigate, is it? Like,
yeah, sorry.
No, for you, you don't really want to go back through it, do you?
Yeah, but it was. I learnt from it. It was I attempted to do something good.
Don't tell them you learn from it; they'll fucking come back.
Yeah, that's true. No, what I learned is that they're stupid, and I'll explain.
That's right. Well,
so I tried to do something good for the music industry, and then a lot of people came for me and said, "How dare you try and do this for the music industry?" Really, what they were saying.
Like the Guy Sebastian thing.
No, I don't know that one.
Standing next to Scott Morrison during COVID,
yes.
The way
ridiculous.
People bullied him,
I just ridiculous.
People are awful. People aren't awful, but they are awful as a mass. They don't realise that the emergent entity of your psychopathic passion is awfulness.
Yeah. My co-founder at the time said something to me. He said, some people don't want to make the world a better place unless they are the ones making it that way.
Oh, without a doubt.
Is that similar to what happened to you?
Oh, well, I won't go through it because it does bring it back. If you say, well, I said this and they said that, they go, no, we didn't say that, like whatever. But obviously, in the early days, I got absolutely like days of columns about the George Pell song from the right-wing press. Like,
I wanted the On the Record episode to just be about that song.
Yeah. Well, I'm very proud of it.
But unfortunately, I love this record. I'm glad we're talking about this. Yeah.
Well, I recently at one of the Mamma Mia podcasts, sort of because I think my job is to model how we should, to the extent that I'm a political voice, which I'm decreasingly so for all sorts of reasons we can talk about if we had another hour, but to the extent that I'm a philosophical voice or an intellectual voice or a socio-political voice, I want to model the principle of charity, which is the philosophical idea that you should bestow upon others, you should treat others' arguments the way you want your arguments to be treated. Right? So when you make an argument, you hope that they're listening with the most open heart, you hope that they assume that you have good intention, you hope that they assume you have a brain, and you hope that they assume the absolute, hear the best version of your argument, not look for the cracks and go for them, but to be as generous as possible in their interpretation of what you're saying. That's what you hope for. And yet we do the opposite to people we disagree with. So I try to model this. And I've been doing it for years. I wrote In Defense of the Fence in 2009. So I'm, and back into Ready for This, and my whole bit of stand-up about post hoc ergo propter hoc. My whole career has been about trying to have neuropsychological humility and understanding that we are imperfect in how we think. And recently I did a thing where someone said, how do you feel about the George Pell song now that he's dead and all these years on? And I said, well, I can hear an argument for people who found it really upsetting, and the argument I would mount against myself is one about public shaming. I'm someone who says that public shaming is not a good mechanism for change with mass groups of public shaming, and yet here I was, that's a huge public shaming I gave that man. So I can hear that criticism. On the other hand, I cannot turn my back on the good it did for survivors, and so I'm proud of the song still. And then the headline, it was Minchin regrets Pell's song, because I dared to do the thing that I believe in most of all, which is be critical of your own arguments,
You were centered in your answer.
Yeah, it's just like, anyway, so they cut that bit out and put this bit in because they're clickbait cunts. But
I love that term, clickbait cunts.
Clickbait come in all of media, all of social media, all of media is just clickbait now, so we're in big trouble. But so yes, I got a lot of flack for and still call Australia homophobic. I had a journo ask me in England the other day, do you still think Australia's homophobic? I'm like, oh, you mean that joke I made to try and get people to vote for gay marriage 10 years ago?
Yeah.
That's a pun. And the accusation was that if we don't vote for gay marriage, we'll be homophobic. And we voted, are you joking? You want to relitigate that? Can one never leave anything behind? And maybe the answer is no. Maybe we should never be allowed to drop a bomb and move past. Maybe it's my job to answer for my mic drops for the rest of my life. I mean, I guess why should I be allowed to? Why should I not have to defend work that sits in the world forever? Maybe I should have to defend it forever. But you should I'm just defend,
but good reason. I feel like it's a really good point. It's still a good point.
It's a good point. But I get it. I don't know. I kind of got it. I'm off social media now, so I'm not on it anymore. I've been 2 years off, and
you said you feel like a less good father and a less good husband.
Yeah, well, you can get very distressed, and you have to take an honest account of whether your distress is whether your distress about the world is in any way translating into action to make the world better. And I think social media is just the wrong mechanism by which change happens. I think it does as much harm as good for every collective activity that makes a positive change. I think there's 10 shit shows that just divide us further. So
especially
I just want to, we're fucked. And it's half bots anyway. And, and everyone whose opinions are being privileged by the algorithm are the most extreme people. So the people in most pain, they're not bad people, but the people who are in most pain on either end of any argument are the voices we hear. And unfortunately, even though we should hear those voices, they shouldn't be the only voices we hear. I know it's great privilege to be in less pain as you come towards the middle where most people's opinions are. It's a great privilege to not have a massive emotional connection to how trans people are treated in the medical system or whatever, and yet we still need those privileged central voices as well as hearing from the people in most pain. And at the moment we just hear from the people and all the moderate voices are quiet and all the huge in pain voices are extreme, and we can't get anywhere.
That was so beautifully put.
So we're out. I'm out. And we should all just get out. We should just go, that's not the mechanism.
Yeah.
I don't know what the mechanism is. Art.
Exist IRL. in real
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
I only have one. Well, I could ask you a million more
Let's get
questions,
going.
but
No,
I've got
good.
one more. But I know I'm out of time, so I'm only going to ask you one more question. So you did a University of Western Australia address, and you said, or is it address? I don't know. This is the Subaru
Bloody
Subaru
Kiwi,
thing all over again.
Subaru.
Okay.
Subaru.
All right, stop making fun of me. You said you don't have to have a dream, and which is the title of a book that you wrote as well, and you said searching for meaning is like looking for a rhyme scheme in a cookbook.
That's right, isn't
Explain
it? Stands
that.
up. I sort of drop these ideas like that we live in a meaningless universe, and searching for meaning is like looking for a rhyme scheme in a cookbook. I mean, the point I'm making is that people, humans forever in their search for meaning, have made up or sought narratives that satisfy their need for satisfy their need to make sense of why they exist, as if that they really want someone or something to have a purpose for them, and they want all the pain and chaos in their lives to be able to be pressed into a narrative of fate or everything happening for a reason. And meaning is something you generate, not something that you discover, right? So there is no God, there is no purpose, things don't happen for a reason, and yet we have these extraordinary brains that can tell stories about togetherness, about nationhood or family or tribe or gender, or, we can tell stories that make us feel one. We can tell stories that make sense of death. We can make them up and say you're in the arms of God, or you can tell a different story, which is that your atoms are now back in the universe, and you can make that meaningful, even though it's meaningless. Your atoms don't have you in them, they're just fucking atoms. But like, art is the job of humans telling stories to one another about why life is meaningful, in the knowledge that it's not. And I find that beautiful and plentiful. I don't need any more than knowing humans developed consciousness and therefore the capacity to tell stories to one another about the beauty of their fleeting existence. Some people don't seem to be able to have that as enough. Some people need transcendence or belief in a higher power, and I just have never had it. Storytelling's plenty.
Do you know why I think you're a perfect atheist?
Because I'm a fast runner as well.
Because you have incredible personal integrity.
Or do I? It's
yes,
easy
you
to
do.
have
Look at how you
personal
look at life.
integrity.
Look at how you're always thinking of the other person. Look at how you feel inspired to create, and you've been given a gift for art, and you feel like you should use it for greater good.
I think so. It's very easy for me because I've got everything else, because I've got a happy family and healthy children and a lifelong partnership with a woman I love, and wealth and physical health and mental health. It's easy to be gregarious and
but not
everyone does.
Your moral
I was
compass
very
has always
lucky.
been your integrity.
I was very lucky to be brought up feeling safe and with a good brain and security, and that definitely allows you to be. There's not much left for me to do except be as generous as possible in my thinking. Which is just my way of saying I don't think everyone who can't do what I do, the kind of like, well, that person's coming from this, I don't think they're lesser. I think people come from different levels of damage and need and fight, and I'm like, I'm like a 50-year-old philosopher, and I've got 2 houses, which is a lie. I don't have 2 houses, but
I have 4.
but it's there's privilege upon privilege. But I want to model. One of my jobs is to model. I do think the collapse of discourse, of capacity to talk across philosophical divides, is catastrophic for the world. So if there's any job I have other than telling fun, good stories, about what it is to be human. The public platform part of my job is to model what it looks like to self-examine and to understand our belief systems as siloed and riddled with bias. And, yeah.
But you said you don't have to have a dream. Does that mean that you never had a dream?
I think I'm very lucky because in hindsight, I guess I had a vocation, as in there was really a thing that I was good at, that as it turned out, I pursued until I made a living out of it. I was very open to the possibility. I was convinced that I would have to stop and become a teacher, and I think I would have been a good teacher, or, maybe I would have written novels or been on a local council, or I probably got leadership bones and, But I just hear all this. I mean, most of my work is about kind of dismantling dominant pop culture narratives that I think are bullshit, right? My love songs and everything's like, everyone says it's like this, but it's actually like that, right? That's what my job is to try and take a new angle on things that there are accepted cliches. There's all this shit about like, you just have to have a dream and believe and you'll manifest it, and it's just like, oh, fuck off. Like most people won't be rock stars and won't be influencers and won't be president. Most people won't be astronauts and won't have their name in lights. The job is, and I say this to my own children, is to find something that you're naturally inclined towards and identify where in society you can use those skills to contribute something. And again, that's privilege because my kids are not going to end up on the street, so they don't have to have that burn of like, I will be a surgeon because I'm a first generation immigrant, and
But even if you were a first generation immigrant, I think the advice to stick to what you're good at, find what your passion is, which is also usually your skill set.
Exactly. Your brain will be better at some things than others, and the more you look at Instagram and look at what other people are doing, the more poisoned your brain is. And so the don't have a dream is really about incrementalism. It's like, in that speech I say, just focus on what you're doing now and just fucking do the fuck out of that. Like, do the best you can at that. And don't think too far ahead, because the next opportunity might be over there, and if you focus there, you might miss this shiny thing in your periphery, and that's the lesson. I think it stands up. I mean, it's 12 years old now, that speech, but that's worked for me. I've always been very able to I've never been thinking, when I first wrote a musical when I was 18, I wrote songs for a youth theatre Shakespeare show, I was like, I'm going to make this amazing. I wasn't like, one day, at all. I'm a self-taught muso from Perth. I didn't think I would get anywhere. But I've never thought beyond the project I'm on. Still don't. I still don't think beyond the project I'm on. Except in that broader project of trying to not be stuck as a comedian. I guess I'm strategic in that regard.
It's all working. Don't change. There's a lyric in Dark Side where you say, never made you rich.
Never made no one rich.
No one rich. Yeah, I disagree.
Yeah, I guess clever made lots of people rich, but
no, but
cheeky lyrics.
I think, I do know what you mean.
In the grunge era, it was not done to be like, ha ha ha, pun in my song.
Yeah, but for the purpose of this, I can challenge that and say, it did, and it works.
Yeah.
It's working, and
it's worked out all right.
Yeah.
It's worked out very all right.
Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Pleasure. I'm sorry I didn't really know about you before today, but you're amazing. You've
got
a big old brain, don't you?
That's not your job to know about me. It's my job to know about you.
Well, sort of.
Thank you so much.